Let's register on the electoral list. This is a message from Equinoxe Television.
Hello to all of you viewers of Equinoxe Television. Welcome back from the weekend. It's time for the news. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Major Stories this evening. Civil society actors and concerned Cameroonians expressed disdain over what they termed the condescending attitude of the DO for Dembo, a locality in the Benue division of the North region of Cameroon. In a viral video, the local administrator could be seen threatening traditional rulers with severe sanctions, accusing them of not contributing for May 20 celebrations in Dembo. The question is, are traditional rulers losing totally the respect they used to command in the days of our forefathers? What can be some of the reasons behind this condescending attitude towards traditional rulers in Cameroon? We attempt an answer in this edition of the news. Plus, the baccalaureate examination of the French subsystem of education began today, Monday, across the national territory. How did the exams go in the northwest and southwest regions amidst ghost towns? Our reporters are on standby. Viewers, those are our lead stories. Details and more when we come back. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for the confidence. Students of terminal in the French subsystem of education have begun writing the baccalaureate examinations today across the national territory. In Boya, in the southwest region, the exams began in an atmosphere characterized by ghost towns. At bilingual grammar school Moliko, 92 out of the 96 students who registered for the exams sat for the exams today. Rex Afon is a man on that beat. He tells us more from Boya.
Just like every other Monday, today the town of Buea observes the usual ghost town. But students of Terminal braved the odds to begin taking their final course exam, the baccalaureate.
The exams back general started in Lycée Bilingue Moliko at 8-0, like in everywhere else in the national territory. We had 96 candidates. Out of 96, 4 were absent, so 92 actually are present. And all 4 absent are external candidates. For this morning, we have Series A and AB writing literature ou culture générale. Series C, they are writing philosophy. Series D, writing literature ou culture générale. And we have to say that at exactly 7, the candidates were on 6. After we had done a systematic check at the gate.
Knowing the context within which they are operating, the administration of Bilingual Grammar School Moliko had prepared the students ahead of time.
Generally, it's not supposed to disturb because even during school period, we've been writing exams on Mondays. And we inform our students to make sure that they move to the non-red zones for the exam period.
In the exam rooms, several measures have been taken to avoid malpractice.
Candidates are one on the bench, one of them the bench, regarding the back head of the first. For invigilators, there are 2 of them in the room. 2 of them, one in front of and one behind.
Some of the students are satisfied with the questions of the first subjects and hope the others will be no different.
This morning we wrote philosophy. It was, you can say, we're hoping that the rest will be more better than this one.
The exam, which runs till Saturday, is the last test for these students before they are ushered into the university.
And over to Limbe, still in the southwest region, the baccalaureate examinations began there unperturbed. Our reporter Davidson Maimon now tells us how the exams began in Limbe today.
We are at the Government Bilingual High School, GBHS Limbe, the main baccalaureate center, hosting 5 different schools. Madame Elive Elizabeth Liengo Lionga is the principal and chief of center.
We have 250 candidates that are registered for this center, and of the 250, all reported present.
The serene examination hall is a testament to the presence of invigilators.
We didn't find any cases of irregularities. All our candidates libre were there, all our internal candidates were there.
Given the ongoing Anglophone crisis, which has lasted for over half a decade, ensuring the security of both students and staff is of utmost importance.
We have security. That is what we put as priority in a period like this. The administration makes sure that we have security all over. You find military there in front of the school, at all the little corners of the campus. We have security.
Day one of the 2025 baccalaureate exams registered a 100% pass rate in Limbe.
Yes, I started my exam very well.
It was very nice. Everything was cool and calm.
I hope that everything I wrote there is all what I've revised.
Everything being equal, the students, invigilators, and the entire education family, including parents and guardians, can only pray and hope that the examination wraps up hitch-free in Limbe.
Thank you, Davidson, and good luck to all the candidates. And now over to one of our lead stars, viewers, civil society actors, and concerned Cameroonians we told you have expressed disdain over what they term the condescending attitude of the DO for Dembo, a locality in the Benue division of the North region. In a viral video, the local administrator could be seen threatening traditional rulers with severe sanctions, accusing them of not contributing for May 20 celebrations in Dembo. Babila Jonathan comes back to that story.
C'est une fête obligatoire, ce n'est pas une fête facultative. Hormis le Lamido, Sa Majesté, hormis vous.
The division officer of Dembo in Benue Division, North Region of Cameroon, lambasts traditional authorities for failing to contribute to the organization of the 2025 National Day.
Mais pas plus tard que lundi, deux étaient dans mon bureau pour me demander l'aide pour se soigner au centre de santé.
Citing the case of two of them who visited his office to ask for financial assistance for their treatment, the state official, Jean-Pierre Ntumbe Ndika, tells them that
quand c'est pour demander l'aide, ils sont champions.
They only know how to beg for aid, to put on good clothes and marry many women, but will not meet up with their contributions to national events.
Ils finissent de manger, tous passent à la brigade.
They are instructed to go and present themselves to the locality gendarmerie brigade commander for interrogation, and their names will be transmitted to the Minister of Territorial Administration. He adds,
vous ne voulez pas contribuer, mais vous voulez le développement, l'eau, l'électricité.
You do not want to contribute, but you want development.
Ils finissent de manger, tous passent à la brigade. Vous me donnez le nom de tous ces messieurs. Celui qui n'est pas là, nous allons le ramasser. Il va dormir au parquet.
He threatens to put them in detention should they fail to show up for questioning.
The sub-prefect has just abused his authority. Secondly, he has carried an attempt of denigration of traditional authorities. And then the collection of the money is an illicit government practice that ought to be condemned. So we condemn this in total.
Criticism has been raining on the administrators since the video went viral on social media.
We will be talking more of that in the second part of the news. Now let's talk about these residents of Kutaba in the Nous division of the West region who went on the pilgrimage to Mecca that was through a Cameco flight, a historic moment marking the rebirth of an airport forgotten since 1989. Details of that exciting moment with our reporter Cedric Chakutio.
Inhabitants of Kutaba, Nous division of the West region of the country, are expressing their joy at the sight of a plane landing on the runways of the Kutaba airport, a symbol of the return to modernity. Closed since 1989, the airport in this locality has become a reality this year.
Je vous assure, ce qu'on est en train de vivre là, c'est ce qu'on a vécu il y a 31 ans. C'était une très grande joie et je pense que cette joie-là, on l'a vécu ce matin.
For the first time in 3 decades, the pilgrims were able to take a flight. Expressing their joy during the reopening of the airport, the local residents requested at least one flight per week.
Nous souhaitons qu'au moins un vol par semaine soit de nouveau dans notre aéroport qui nous est trop cher.
I think that the airport will be used in the future. We are maintaining all efforts. We are thinking that we have personnel, qualified personnel, we have infrastructure in place. Then in the future, if the national Cameco wanted, it can have flight at least once a week in Kutaba.
Pilgrims and other residents of the Nous division will not forget this historic date of May 25th, 2025, which marks a new chapter for the Kutaba military airport.
In other news, the Cameroon Parliamentary Alliance for Food Security has launched a comprehensive initiative to improve food security in the far north region of Cameroon. The alliance, supported by the German cooperation, aims to strengthen advocacy for major reforms related to the transformation of food systems in the region, witnessing a multifaceted crisis. For me, Armstrong Sanda completes the story.
The far north region of Cameroon has been grappling with food insecurity for several years, exacerbated by climate change, conflict and economic instability. The region's vulnerability to drought, flood and pests has led to crop failures, livestock deaths and reduced agricultural productivity. As a result, many families struggle to access nutritious food, leading to malnutrition, particularly among children and women. The lack of access to nutritious food has also affected the region's economic development, as a malnourished population is less productive and more susceptible to illnesses. Additionally, economic instability and the lack of investment in the agricultural sector have hindered the region's ability to produce and distribute food effectively.
We have been advising them, the population, and the NGOs, is to teach the population and advise the mayors on how to take over from them, because if we leave these structures in the hands of the population without a continuation, then it will be of no use. Because
to address these challenges, the Cameroon Parliamentary Alliance for Food and Nutrition Security has launched a comprehensive initiative to improve food security in the far north region.
You know, today we have visited sites where they can plant vegetables during the dry season. We have visited the sites where they can rear poultry. They have poultry. We have visited the sites where they can rear fish, and we've seen how the local population, those who cannot even speak English or French, are doing it so well.
The alliance, supported by the German cooperation, aims to strengthen advocacy for major reforms related to the transformation of food systems.
Meantime, security forces in Yabasi have laid hands on 3 suspected armed robbers. The alleged bandits, according to security officers of Bono-Epupa, orchestrated a series of attacks on vehicle owners on the National Road No. 3. They were nabbed thanks to the collaboration of the local population, as Lucille Yengu Esiet tells us in the report. This comes up next.
In a joint operation carried out by security forces in Bono-Epupa, 3 suspects have been arrested following a series of complaints about the high rate of insecurity and highway robberies along the National Road No. 3.
Nous avons observé un phénomène de coupeurs de route sur la nationale.
We noticed the phenomenon of armed robbery on the National Road No. 3, prompting the National Gendarmerie, under the instruction of the commander of the Legion, to launch an operation. The armed robbers were hiding in suburbs such as Kolmbong and PK30. Responding quickly, the brigade commander and his officers began investigation in the Tonde village, where victims and local residents provided information.
Nous avons interrogé les victimes qui nous ont dit comment ils ont été attaqués.
During the investigation, one of the suspects confessed to being involved in the robbery and revealed the hiding place of his accomplices, who were aged between 18 and 21.
Pendant qu'il veut se constituer témoin, il avait déjà préalablement gardé ses complices dans le plafond de la maison.
As the gendarmes and the vigilante committee monitor the area closely, the two accomplices emerged and were arrested. The alleged armed robbers, according to security forces, had as modus operandi ambushing vehicles, taking advantage of the poor state of the National Road Number 3. They carried out the operation using axes to destroy the windshields of vehicles before robbing the occupants. To enhance public safety, the National Gendarmerie calls on road users to be more vigilant, to establish local vigilante committees and increase patrols by law enforcement along the Douala-Bonepupa road.
And now let's talk sports. Former Indomitable Lions player has urged Cameroon, government of Cameroon and the Football Federation of the country to give adequate attention to athletes after they go on retirement. According to Jules Denis, the lack of concern shown to the persons who dedicated their time and their life to serve the country is the reason why some of them die in poverty. Jules Denis is calling on the government and the Football Federation to come up with a program to help former athletes in Cameroon. Simajikan Gabriel read through the missive of Jules Denis Unana. He tells us more.
According to former international player Jules Denis Onana, follow-up of former sports icon in Cameroon remains a key problem, and it's seen in different levels. Poor situation of players after the end of their career, even those who had great time, will see themselves begging. Lack of converting themselves, absence of planning their end of career and social security, as well as the poor management of their resources, makes them to become beggar after their career comes to an end. Emmanuel Jerome Koundé and others before him had difficulties after retirement. Another reason is the lack of recognition from the country. Jules Denis Onana acknowledges the recognition from the states and federation to icons, with medals awarded to them, but comes without financial support. The lack of medical assistance, even when the players are still up and kicking, is a major problem. Jules Denis Onana laments that there is lack of program dedicated to reconvert sport icons. The former Canon Sportive Yaoundé player is now calling on the state to create a support fund for sportsmen to help former internationals, a program to help these former internationals to divert into another profession after retirement, medical assurance, and create a sports museum that has documents which will help the future generation.
Thanks, Matt. And that report brings us to the end of the first part of the news, viewers. Let's now move on to talking points. Welcome back, viewers. Our guest tonight is Dr. NGWAYAM. He is of the civil society and also an educationist. Thank you so much, Doctor, for accepting to talk to us on Talking Point tonight. Today we are talking on what other civil society actors and Cameroonians have termed the disrespectful, condescending attitude of the DO in the Benue division while addressing traditional rulers in the Benue division, like I said, of the North region. He accuses them of not being able to pay for May 20 celebrations, yet they can marry many wives, etc. Dr. NGWAYAM, can we say that traditional rulers are gradually losing the respect they used to command in the days of our forefathers, considering all what has been happening recently? Can we say the chiefs are really losing it?
No, the chiefs are not losing it. It's just that, you know, our administrators lack emotional intelligence. They don't know how to. They don't know how to. They were never taught, and their upbringing puts them in a very difficult situation. Sometimes you try to blame them, but if you look very critically, it's got nothing to do with them. It's got something to do with how they were brought up. You know, how they were brought up in their homes, in school, and what their worldview is about many things. Because even as we condemn many of these administrators, I know of two governors who were in the Northwest region, very great people. I'm talking of Governor Abaka Ahmad. I'm talking of Governor Kumpa Issa. I mean, I've never known any two governors better than them. Probably our late brother, what is his name again? The man who just passed away from Bafia, who was a governor also in the Northwest region. These are the three governors that have been very good, and I respect them, great administrators, and God alone knows why the others can't just learn from them and be like them. I mean, this issue of throwing a weight all over the whole place is uncalled for.
And now, Dr. NGWAYAM, we noticed that in the video that went viral on social media, that when the DO for Dome, Dembo, was addressing the local traditional authorities, all of them were just quiet, like listening to the end of his discourse. Can we say they were powerless in front of the DO?
They were not powerless. It's just that, you know, when you are dealing with people in the public, don't make a kind of statements that put them in a trapped situation. The chiefs were going to show up. They didn't say they were not coming. They were going to come. Even if you wanted to put pressure on them to come, why not just call them individually on the phone and talk to them, or say, please just, you don't even need to force them, just say, please come, let us do this. But when you go on the air, you know, in public, and then you make it an ultimatum and threaten them, then it puts them in a very difficult situation. Those of them who just intended to come, it gives the impression to the public and to their subjects like they were coming because you threatened them, and they are coming because if they don't show up, you are going to put them in prison, you are going to cut their stipend, you are going to dethrone them, or something like that. That's the image, or that's the message that you pass when they eventually come, especially if they were coming out of goodwill. So you put them in a very nasty situation. It's not good.
Doctor, this public show of shame and disgrace on traditional rulers, what consequence or impact can it have on their various communities?
Because this is the bottom line. You know, the community is going to be blaming President Paul Biya for sending them such bad and hopeless administrators. They'll be blaming Paul Biya, and to an extent they are right. Why do we have to be appointing people to go look over people when they cannot even look after themselves and when they are poorly trained? So that's why we are saying that from now going forward, especially if things change in the right direction, all administrators, be they DOs, be they SDOs, be they governors, whatever we will call them, those people should be elected by the people. When they are elected by the people, they would respect the people and work with the people, not against the people.
And now we also know that traditional rulers in Cameroon, be they first degree, second degree, or first class, second class, or third class chiefs, they are on a payroll. Can this also justify the fact that they are being trampled on, let's put it that way in quotes, by some unscrupulous local public authorities?
Administrators to be on a payroll is not a favor. It's not a favor, it's not a right, it's not a privilege. They are on a payroll because they offer some services, and the government working on behalf of the people think that we should look after these people who are rendering a service. And you know that in the villages, we, the people, probably things have changed now because of modernity, but otherwise the chiefs and rulers were catered for by the community, where the community brings the chief the food, the drinks, the goats, the everything. They put you there, and then they bring these things for your upkeep. So it's but normal that the government should contribute to that. But even if government is contributing to that, government doesn't have money. It's not government money, it's the people's money. So if you are just put there to take part of the people's money and give to the chiefs, that doesn't give you a right to be rude or mistreat them. You are not supposed to do that at any time. It's not your money. And so to think that you can talk rudely to these people just because they are on a little small stipend, which is not much to write home about, you are mistaken.
And now, Dr. Nick, what can be done at this point in time to impose or resuscitate, let me put it that way, the respect that our traditional rulers used to command in our various communities in the yesteryears?
Option, and I think what has made me to even be so convinced about the third option is this kind of behavior, and this kind of behavior gives us an opportunity to be able to examine the place of Enam in our existence. And so I would say again that when the third option does come to power, ENAM will be shut down and administrators will be elected, because we can't continue to tolerate this. And I will not blame these people who are behaving again like this, because they are just behaving like the colonial masters who put them there. It is the colonial masters who put in place the ENAM and created the curriculum, and then gave them the impression that when you want to lead people, or what you call state authority, you have to be strong. You know, I don't know what they mean by strong. Their sense of leadership is being bossy, is kicking people around, you know, taking advantage of them and insulting them. No, that's not leadership. Leadership is helping people to be able to craft and solve their problems. I mean, look at their problems, understand them, and solve their problems. So it's not about pushing and kicking people around, and that's going to stop.
Thank you so much, Dr. NGWAYAM, for accepting to be part of the news on Equinoxe Television today at 6 p.m. and hope to have you some other time, sir. Viewers, thank you so much for always being with us. That was what we put together for you this evening. Our programs continue. Equinoxe Soir comes up at 7 p.m. with Serge Alain, and the news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. with Irish Ngono. Thank you again for being with us, and see you again tomorrow, same time, God willing. Bye-bye for now.